Hello, world. This is Ken speaking, Michigan man, and I had a dilemma with this particular hen of mine, a barred rock hen, and beautiful hen. But something happened to her right leg, her right claw, and her left leg, her left claw is in splendid condition, but she's just limping around. She can't sustain any weight on her right leg, her right claw. Her right claw seems to be paralyzed. And so I struggle on what to do, and I don't want to just drown her in a pail of water. I mean, I don't want to just chop her head off and not eat her, and I don't really want to butcher a chicken and try to get all the feathers out. The pin feathers is the pain in the butt. And remember that she's being pushed away. She's going to be slowly starved to death by the other chickens, because chickens are quite cruel. Remember, they're descended from the reptiles. They're really, in their prehistoric form, they were indeed reptiles. So what did I do? I've been thinking about this for 3 days as she gets smaller, and I took her. It's disrespectful to an animal to just kill it and not use it for something. So, like I said, if I chop her head off but I don't butcher her and eat her, then she had no purpose in life, and she never reproduced, and um, she yeah, I mean, to just drown her and toss her on the ground, I don't even know if the animals would eat dead meat like that. Maybe some vultures would. So I took her in my arms, and she's very acclimated to me, and I held her close to me so she's warm, and I took her out of the barn, and I took her for a walk. I have 10 acres and a lot of trails back in the thick forest, and I took her back there. Now you can tell it's nightfall, it's getting to be dark out, and I took her for a walk deep in the forest, and I set her down and sat down next to her. She doesn't know what's happening, but I'm sitting next to her, and I slowly got up after a few minutes, and I walked away and said goodbye. Now, what did I do? We have a lot of wild predators out here. We've got coyotes, we've got bobcats. She's not going to survive the night. But I was thinking, how is the best way to treat this life with respect? And because I'm not eating her, which is part of the cycle of life. So I decided to take her out right before dark and set her deep in the forest where the animals are. And the wildlife will eat her tonight. I'll go back out in the morning and I'll see her legs and her feathers. They will have eaten her warm innards, probably leave her beak and head. Maybe they'll eat her head. And she'll become part of the cycle of life, rather than me just drowning her in a pail of water and tossing her into the dumpster, which seems really disrespectful. So that's my approach. That's my view of the cycle of life. That's my view. Creatures, including humans, we have to have a purpose. They have to have a purpose. Maybe you think that I'm projecting too much onto the animal world. You're free to think that. Screw you. I think that things have to have had a purpose, and she's now going to be consumed by animal life tonight. And I gave her a good life to the extent that I could. But just know that when you live on a farm, you deal with life and death all the time. Anyone who's a farmer, I have a hobby farm. I've had hobby farms since 1993, and in California I had a small piece of acreage, much smaller than this 10 acres I have here. And life and death are just part of living on a farm. And if you're living in urban areas in the city, you just don't see it because death is hidden from you. You don't see the chickens who lay the eggs you buy that you buy in the grocery store. You don't never see the live animals that are wrapped into packages at the store. There's life and death everywhere, and if you're in an urban environment, you are just shielded from it. It's sort of a very you're separated from the reality of life and death. But out here in the country, we have to deal with this. And my best way of handling this was take her out there in the middle of the forest to be consumed tonight. But she did have 5 months, 4.5 months of a wonderful life with me, with not only chicken food, but pumpkins and zucchinis and lots of fresh vegetables. And for the rest of us, we go on at this stage in our life as the living part of the cycle of life. And I bid you farewell from the magnificent north.